Hi, my name is Giacomo Lepri from Queen Mary University of London. I present a research project titled Useless Not Worthless, Absurd Making as Critical Practice. I present on behalf of Andrew McPherson from Queen Mary University of London as well, and John Bowers, Newcastle University. We report on a hackathon organized around the themes of questionable music interaction and absurd musical instruments. I will briefly provide some background for the work and introduce the hackathon main outcomes. Finally, I will discuss absurd making as a helpful tool to stretch and critique conventional ideas of what is useful and appropriate in technology research and development. There is a long tradition in the arts and design related to the discipline of imagining and building illogical, unfamiliar, and overly complicated machines. Clearly, within the Western culture, these design hazards pay a tribute to artistic and philosophical movements such as Dadaism, Surrealism, and Situationism. Amongst them, pataphysics, the science of imaginary solutions, was undoubtedly a strong source of inspiration while planning our Absurd Music Hackathon. In the context of HCI, we particularly refer to the work of Devendorf, Vines, and Blythe, which, drawing from the arts and design fiction methods, experimented with a variety of open-ended and playful strategy that somehow challenge HCI practice and their assumptions. Within the domain of musical interaction, it is possible to identify a small but growing body of work that challenges technology ideation through absurd and playful artifacts. These include the Magic Machine Workshops by Christina Andersen, in which the making of silly fictional instruments allows participants to generate design ideas beyond the paradigms imposed by current music tools. John Bowers and Owen Green instead exploited the notion of hijacking as a way to question existing music technology and the implicit norms codified into the artifacts. Our event took place over 2 days at Queen Mary University of London. We invited artists, technologists, and makers to take part in a hackathon around the themes of absurd musical interface through a public call via academic mailing list and social networks. The event ended with a final round of presentation and short performances in which each project was shown to a small audience of colleagues and friends. The aim of the hackathon was to design absurd musical propositions using the tools and materials usually found in design and craft workplaces. Participants were also encouraged to bring their own tools and materials and use any free or open source resource. In order to support participants, 2 external mentors were invited to join the event, John Bowers and Hannah Perner-Wilson. The mentors were on site for the whole duration of the workshop, guiding and challenging participants from both technical and theoretical viewpoints, while occasionally making their own absurd design. During the course of the event, each mentor delivered a short seminar around the hackathon's theme and an introduction to e-textile material and practice. We also provide basic training on the Bella Music Maker platform. Several projects focus on questionable sonic interfaces directly related to current music technology and its implied values. Anyone Can Make Music was presented as the solution to music that nobody was waiting for. A huge red button allows the performer to make music in any style by choosing between 5 different MIDI arrangements. Another group of participants decided to design giant music interfaces. The Pipe Technology project magnifies standard music controllers and used them to control unpredictable sonic engines. This technology allows us to expand what previously was really small, so that interface that once could be controlled with one finger now required full body movements. The Patronizer and VNIP are 2 pieces of wearable sonic interfaces built to provoke uncomfortable interactions, where body gestures such as scrubbing, squeezing, and patting become something that puts you in a weird and awkward place, a sort of critique of technology for leisure and satisfactory experience. These sonic interfaces, made of knitted balls, are meant to be positioned in awkward places and played through non-conventional gestures. In this case, the interface is placed on the floor and, as a sort of magic sonic carpet, it can be played by different barefoot musicians simultaneously. Several hackathon projects suggest reflections over design tools and materials. Such as this e-textile work, the piece reinterprets the ancient practice of removing precious metal thread from clothes and vests. The e-textile is then connected to an audio circuit and taken apart during the performance, a sonic interface that vanishes while it is played. The Bug Orchestra project is a fully equipped art residence facility for robotic bugs. These amenities include a dance floor, a red carpet, and a rave area. The aim of the project is to create an environment that could stimulate the bugs' creativity, give them compositional freedom, and music performance training. The overall project's attitude is grounded on the idea that by subverting the ways we think about and perform with technology, it is possible to reveal unstated assumptions and consider divergent strategies. The etymology of the word absurd indeed relates to expressions such as out of tune and dissonant. By identifying dissonances, it should be possible to partially disclose the messages conveyed through their artifacts. Exaggeration is a device often used by participants in their absurd instruments. The idea of massively expand standard musical controllers relates to the intention to open up new design spaces, escaping current technological trends. The hyper-reductive instrument Anyone Can Make Music instead offered an explicit critique to many crowd-funded commercial instruments, whose campaign often claim that new technology is the answer to enabling people to make music, while devoting relatively little attention to the kind of music that the instruments makes. Paradoxes are statements that run contrary to shared expectations. For instance, after many hours of labor, the artist decomposed this embroidered e-textile embellishment to produce sound during a performance. The assumption we might have on standards such as robustness and durability are then challenged through this unworkable artifact. Paradox was also used to challenge common design principles through the notion of uncomfortable interactions. Such offbeat statement might help to build awareness about the current ubiquitous technologies that already put us in uncomfortable situations. Some of the artifacts were instead characterized by a sense of suspension. For instance, we interpret the pom-pom swatches as a conscious act of resistance towards hi-fi and forefront technology. Indeed, the tools and materials used in this project belong to handcraft practice linked to Asian technique and methods. We correlate these attitudes to craftivism approaches in which domestic arts are used to engage with critical discourse on social processes and art expressions. The playful and permissive approach for critical making explored in this research allowed us to engage with rich and amusing outcomes. We frame absurd making as a practice for the discovery of contradictions. Contradictions might help to unpack values and question norms or expectations linked to current and future technology. On the other hand, we were left with many questions that still need to be addressed. Future work should better tackle how to facilitate and challenge absurd making in terms of format, materials, activities, and mentorships. In particular, we would be keen to explore absurd making in participatory design, for engaging participants and clearly revealing their assumptions and needs. Thank you for listening.